Hi there, Brew, welcome back to another edition of the Brew Brothers. We've had a little break while we've been concentrating more on our techniques and perfecting the brewing rather than making the videos. But today we decided we'd do a video. We're making a New England IPA called Twisted NEIPA. So, usual thing, got the water heating up. We'll go and make some, make up the salts to go in there for the water profile. And I'll just show you the recipe. So here we have our bag of ingredients from Getter Brews, excellent brew shop. They'll make up a custom grain kit. So this is basically ale malt, torrefied oats, and wheat. It's a fairly simple NEIPA. We've also got Citra hops and Mosaic hops. And we're using an American ale yeast from Brew. We need 2 packs of that. So as is normally the case, we use BrewZilla to make our recipes. BrewZilla helps us do the water profiling. So on here, you can see we start with distilled water. We're going to go with a NEIPA profile from a recent David Heath video. You can see on there. So basically we need to put in gypsum, calcium chloride, Epsom salts. So we'll do that now. So there's our salts, calcium chloride, gypsum and Epsom salts measured out to make the hop profile, so that's going to go in the water now. So while we're heating the water up, we like to do the recirc, so it's taking the water from the hot water from the bottom and taking it to the top. I think that probably just helps it heat up that little bit quicker. And also if you've got hop spider, it's a handy place to keep your tools on the side when it's not in use. So we hang that off the side there. And at the moment, 46 degrees, I'm trying to get to about 73. So one thing that we like to do is we put the total quantity of water that we need, mash water and sparge water, in, so we know we've got the right level. Heat that up to somewhere near mash temperature, and then we'll tap off the sparge water. That way we know that even if we get the amount of sparge water slightly wrong, we've got the total amount of water correct. And also we don't have a separate water heater, so we can put the sparge water in a pan and put it on a hob maybe, but we find it's a fairly efficient way, and we know we've got exactly 30 litres, which is what BrewZilla says is our total water that we need. So approaching mash temperature of about 60 degrees, so we'll tap off the sparge water, put that to one side, and we'll tap off about 6 litres. So there's our sparge water, 6 litres of it in the pan. It's about 60 degrees, we'll leave it on the hob, and if needs be we can rewarm that closer to the time that we need to use it. So quick top tip, where the sparge arm connects, these connectors are rubbish and we just had water leak out of there, so just put a little clamp on for safety. Don't need to go wasting any liquid there, do we? So while we're waiting for the strike temperature to come up to temperature, there's a handy tool in BrewZilla that can help work out what temperature we need. So the strike temperature is the temperature of the water we need, so that when we add the grain, it will reduce down to hit the temperature we want. So as you can see in there, we've got a room temperature of 20, grain temperature of 20, mash target temperature of 65, with 24 litres of water, 6 litres of grain. It tells to do strike temperature of 69.6. So we've set 69 or 70 degrees on the BrewZilla, and when it gets the temperature, hopefully when we put the grain in, it will reduce down to 65, which will be perfect. Okay, we are at 69 degrees. We are ready to mash in. So it's grain going in. This is the most amount of grain we've done in the BrewZilla. We've never done over 6 kilos before, so we'll also add some rice hulls to help it flow a little bit better. Add a bit, stir a bit, add a bit, stir a bit, make sure there's no dough balls in there, make sure it's all nice and wet. That's looking good. We've got a lot of grain here, so we've added rice hulls which should keep it flowing, and we'll just get it recircling in a second. So put the top cover on and the overflow, and that will give us a more even flow through the grain. So I can just turn this up slightly. So we want a flow so it neither rises nor falls. We want as much flow as we can get away with. So maybe that's a bit too much. Just turn it down, and we'll leave it like that. Occasionally we'll pull this off and give it a stir, maybe every 20 minutes of the hour. I find that if we don't put the top cover on, we get low efficiencies because the water just tends to go through one bit of the grain, but this means it's generally filtering through all the way over all the grains equally. So the two little tabs you can see are good indicators. If they start to disappear, then we've gone too deep and we need to turn down the flow. So I just like to keep an eye on them. At the moment they're looking good with reasonable flow as well. Okay, so what we've got here is a little thermometer. It's important to know that the water's at the correct temperature, and we can't always rely on the BrewZilla. So you can see we've got 67 coming out of the top, and that's reading 67 as well, so we know that's nice and accurate. Hopefully that will just drop a couple of degrees because we set it to 65. But if we're over the temperature, then we're not going to get the same amount of fermentable sugars, so we probably won't hit our final gravity that we want. So just keep an eye on that. Now, as you can see, just a few minutes later, we are at well 64 at the bottom. That's reading 65, so that's close enough. You can calibrate these to get them exact, but at least with the thermometer on the top we know what's going on exactly. This is just a normal barbecue meat thermometer. It works quite well. Handy thing about this is it's Bluetooth, so I can set alarms if the temperature drops too much or rises too much. As it would for a barbecue or a steak, it would also give that alarm to me for the brewing as well. So definitely a good purchase. It's just called a little ink bird. So that's 20 minutes gone. We'll just take the top screen off and give it a little stir. So just turn that off so it drains down a touch. As you can see, we're getting a fantastic flow for these 6 kilos of grain. That's almost on max. I imagine the rice hulls must be helping here. That's not rising at all with what we want. Okay, so we mashed for 60 minutes and we did a 15-minute mash out at 76 degrees. So now we pull it out and do the sparge. So that's the Sparge now complete. It'll sit there draining, and we'll wait for it to come to temperature for the boil. It's just approaching the boil now, 97 degrees, so we'll keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't boil over. It will go quick. So, Phil's come over and we thought we'd try his bitter, which we only made last Saturday. They came out of the fermenter yesterday, but it's fantastic.
Going down a treat.
Cheers. And that's still boiling away. It's a little bit below our expected gravity, so we're going to just boil it for another half an hour. And we want to get to 1.060. And it's on about 1.055 at the moment. But not to worry, we'll get there. $1.058, which should give us about 6.2, 6.3%. Have a look. So we've just reduced it 80 degrees. We've got a hop stand, 20-minute hop stand. So we've reduced it down, and we're just going to measure out the hops for the hop stand. So they've got 40 grams of Citra hops. 40. For the hop stand, we've also got Amarillo hops even, but they're only going to go in dry hopping. So just set these over here, put them in there. As you can see, you've got 15 seconds left of the hop stand. So that is the beer complete. We'll turn it off, cool it. When it gets down to about 25 degrees, we'll put it in the fermenter. So we are done. Let's get it in the fermenter. Okay. We'll just run it through the hop filter to catch any big bits. It's quite handily, the exact right size for this BrewZilla. Oh. It's looking good. And we are done. So somewhere around 20.5 litres of what hopefully is a nice hoppy New England India Pale Ale. So that's the fermenter in the fermentation fridge. Ignore the ice, it was just been used for beer. So we've got a spunding valve on top set to 0 psi, and we've got a heat belt here connected to a temperature controller, so it will control the temperature to 20 degrees or thereabouts. And for the first, until we get about halfway through fermentation, then I'll turn up the spunding valve. But for the first half we won't have any pressure, so we can get the esters from the yeast. So now we'll just leave that. As you see, the little blue thing, that's the ice spindle, so that will send us readings of the gravities. We can see what's going on over the internet. And there we go. So next time we'll check in will be to dry hop in 2 days' time. We do dry up in 2 days' time and then dry up at the end of fermentation. Excellent. So here we are in the garage. It's been in for 36 hours. Let's have a look. Let's see how we're doing. And we've got life. You can see not much going on there, but it's started to move and started to ferment, so that's all good. So this is the first dry hop. That's been in there for 2 days. So these ones help with biotransformation. There's Citra and Mosaic, 30 grams of each. And we're not massively worried about oxygen or anything because it's not under pressure and it's only the second day of fermentation. So we'll just go straight in the top. A bit of pressure in there. In. When we do the next set, which is 50 grams of each, that'll be done when it's finished fermenting, and then we'll take a bit of care about the gas. I'm trying to keep the oxygen out, but at the moment that's not too much of a problem. But it's looking good. It's on its way. So we'll check in about halfway through fermentation. We'll turn up the pressure and we'll start pressure fermenting. At the moment, it's just open for those esters. Happy days. So we're now at final gravity. We're going to dry hop for 24 hours and then cold crash. So we'll vent the gas. Put that on there. Okay, so reconnect. There's just a little bit of gas flowing in there. So we flush in the CO2 while we're doing it. Pour these in. The mosaic in. Citra in. Hopefully, I've kept as much oxygen out of there as possible. Take that off. Spun the valve back on. Just repressurise back up to 12 psi or so. That'll do. Tight. And that's how we dry hop without getting any oxygen into the fermenter. Hopefully. Our brew tube, here we are on kegging day. This is our NEIPA in here, which is looking good. It's been fermenting for a week. Dry hops for the last 2 days and cold crash for 24 hours. So we're going to keg, and we're going to fill 2 kegs. Well, we've got a little 10 litre keg here and a normal keg. So we're going to fill the 10 litre, and this will be about half filled. And we're going to try and do it in one go. So the way we work this is we'll have beer out here, which will go into the beer in line on the little keg. When that's then connected to this one, so when that's full, beer will then flow through here into the big keg, and all the CO2, because these have both been purged and all the airlines have been purged, will flow back into the fermenter, and in theory we shan't get any oxygen anywhere. So it's a bit of a slow process, so what we'll do is connect up the beer line here, and to get it flowing, just disconnect that, we'll vent some CO2, and beer is flowing. So put that back on there, and we wait 15-20 minutes. Excellent, so we should be back shortly.
And then it goes into the next.
So there we go, we're done. We've got 2 kegs, a little one and a big one. The big one has got, I don't know, maybe 7 litres, 8 litres, and the little one is full to the top. And all we've got to do now is put them in the fridge, get them carbonated and get it drunk, and then we'll check in for our tasting
At the weekend, probably.
at the weekends, which will be shortly on the video. Cheers!
Sure.
So here we are, a few days later, beer's in the bottle, and we're going to test it, see what it's like. I think it's been out of the keg about 4 days, that's all. It's looking lovely already, nicely carbonated. So, let's get on with the tasting. Ooh. Right. Cheers.
Right, so very special day. This is the tasting of the NEIPA. It's been 3 months, I think, trial and error and a failure on this one. So we've gone for, it's a traditional NEIPA, so the hops we've used, again, just to remind you, are Citra and Mosaic. So the Mosaic should give a sort of fruity, sort of almost like berry taste perhaps, but the Citra is going to be the more overriding flavour I would have thought we're going to get from this. Yeah. So let's see how we get on. Do you say 4 days it's been conditioning for, which you don't need long with the NEIPAs, so it's the right colour now as well, isn't it? So, you know.
Yeah, we were super careful to make sure we don't oxidise it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's come out really well. Looks really good. Really nice colour.
Yeah, it's really hard. So the last one we did oxidised really badly and it just went brown straight away, but
this is really fresh and orange.
Lovely orange colour there, isn't it?
As you can see from earlier on in the video, we took extra care when we were transferring it to mitigate that, and actually it's come out alright. Smells lovely.
Yeah, the aroma's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely
really strong.
lovely.
Sort of citrus. Yeah, the hops have really come through on the aroma.
It came out at about 5.9%, and the cloudiness is from the oats and the wheat. That is sort of a standard for this style, and it looks really good.
Let's give it a taste then.
Yeah, it tastes really good. You get all the fruits, sort of peach or melon, and
Really good mouthfeel to that straight away. Definitely the Citra does stand out. I think the first thing I thought was a bit of a grapefruit taste to it, perhaps.
Pineapple.
Definitely the pineapple, that sort of sweet pineapple taste you get definitely is there.
the final gravity was about what 1012.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It's got a little bit of body to it, a little bit of mouthfeel.
Quite good head retention. Sticking around, and it's carbonated quite. We've carbonated quite high for this. And I think that kind of helps with the mouthfeel as well.
So the NEIPAs really do work fresh as well, don't they?
Yeah.
That drunk straight out of the keg just after less than a week is
Yeah, I mean it's been
amazing.
10 days since we brewed it.
Since we started brewing it, yeah, it is, yeah.
It's Friday and it's last Monday we made it.
Mhm.
So it's been quite a short process from the grain to the glass.
I think we can say this one is a success.
It's a massive success, that one.
Cheers to all. Thanks for watching.
Thanks very much.
Please subscribe and look forward to our next video, whenever that may be.
Cheers.
Cheers.